Ademola Adeleke of Accord Party haven't satisfied the requirement of the law is hereby declared a winner.
How do you feel?
You know what? I feel great. First of all, I thank the God Almighty for what has happened today. It's a victory for democracy in Nigeria.
Mr. Governor, what does this victory mean for the people of Osun State?
That is what I'm saying. A victory for democracy. A victory for Osun people that stood by me, that say, Imole, you have done a lot for us. You have given us the dividend of democracy in terms of infrastructure, improving our education, agriculture, and so forth. So this is the Osun people saying thank you, Mr. Governor. That is
On the 15th of August 2026, the people of Osun State gathered together and casted their vote in a bid to elect a leader to continue in the next 4 years. The voting process was filled with tension and all level of violence, but in the end, a winner emerged. Today, we shall take a look at the overall activity that took place during the election. My dear friend, the election has been won and lost, and the election has also come and go. So, what do you think was, what is your general view of the entire electoral process?
I don't think the election is, it has been won and lost. I think the election has been won and lost temporarily. We live in a country where hundreds of people and sometimes millions of people will elect people, and 7 or 5 people will sit and decide otherwise. It's not funny, that's the truth. So we can't pretend not to know it is happening. There have been instances in this country where it has happened, not one, not twice. There have been instances where number 4 have been declared the winner, but temporarily a winner is there, pending when 5 or 7 people will sit to tell us whether in their own opinion he's actually the winner.
So in your opinion now, what you are trying to say is that the people may have said their mind, but it still depends on 4, 5, 6, 7 individuals to have the final say.
Let's not pretend about these things. It's a statement of fact. We know it. In this country, 7 people sat and amended the constitution of Nigeria and told us they were interpreting local government financial autonomy. So let's not go there. The issue is this: temporarily the election is over, and Governor Ademola Adeleke is the winner of the election. The election where he defied a lot of things to win. Local government allocations for the 30 LGAs in Osun State was seized by the people who purportedly claimed to have fought for democracy, by the very people who went to the Supreme Court in the days of Obasanjo to argue that Obasanjo had no powers to seize allocation. So that is where we are. By way of final overview, the election was largely credible. INEC improved in its logistics but the election was far from being fair. Yes, it wasn't an election that was fair.
Okay, when you talk about intimidation and whatnot, that brings me to the security aspect of this election. There were incidences of even police officers going to polling units to seize ballot boxes, and we also saw that some persons were being intimidated both in the polling units or in the polling booths and even on the road, simply because they wanted to exercise their civic rights. Now, one would want to agree with you that the election was truly not fair, judging by the fact that these people went to polling units where it was perceived that the opposition were having, a field day. But then, what other aspect of this election would you say has raised serious concerns security-wise going into next year's election?
The Osun State election, in my opinion, deepens the fear about state police. Because if you have federal police officers acting like criminals, behaving in a way that is clearly criminals, just imagine if that was a state police. I have my different opinion about state police. I'm not just saying it for those who fear about state police. You see all these things, if they come, kill them, intimidate them, all those things, they were intimidation tactics to intimidate the people from not voting. But the people of Osun State has been able to prove to us that we, the people, own this security. They don't own us. And they are actually there to secure us. But if they cannot secure us, we have the right to secure ourselves under the Constitution as much as the law allows you. I think because the question is directly about fears, the greatest fear here is that the security agencies have proven once again that they cannot be trusted. But I fear for them too. In as much as we also have our fears, I fear for them too. Let us not descend to a situation where the average Nigerian will begin to see the security personnel as an enemy. I don't think it will go down well with them. Okay, talking about the fairness of the election, there were also incidences of vote buying. And one would want to wonder what this vote buying is about. But we saw videos, for example, we are going to play a clip right now, so that we understand exactly the direction this question is going to take. Just let's take a moment and view this clip, and we'll be back. Okay, all right, welcome back. You could see people jubilating and shouting, "Ole, ole, 50,000, 30,000." Now, this was allegedly, people mocking the APC, for giving them money, and ended up getting scammed. I will use the word scammed because the reason why they were giving the money was not to do otherwise. But they clearly did otherwise. Collected money and they did otherwise. So that brings the issue of fairness in the election, to question. So what do you think about vote buying? Was it just the APC that contributed or participated in vote buying as seen in the video, or is it a question of who bought more by both contending parties? If you recall, during our pre-election analysis, I did say that if EFCC claims that the reason why they want to block Osun State accounts was to prevent vote buying, then they should extend it to all the other APC states. Because I don't think any particular state government in Nigeria will have the financial muscle to pay people 50,000 naira to vote for them. Exactly. So clearly, it was a contribution. This state bring. They now make up for it to be able to pay 50,000 per voter to vote for their party. That's one. Secondly is that what played out in Osun this Saturday was a bazaar. It wasn't a vote buying, it was purely a bazaar. Okay? The APC came to buy votes. That was their biggest strategy. In fact, they have set a standard. Because if Nigerians must sell vote in 2027, they shouldn't settle anything less than 50,000. Okay. If people in Osun could be priced 50,000. Now, all the parties bought votes, the truth be told.
Okay.
But the APC spent more. Assuming, though not considering, that all the vote the APC have in Osun State is a bought vote. Do you know how many billions that could mean? Do you know how many billions that could mean? But I think that the people of the state resisted this because the APC was notorious to payment of half salary. I talked about it during our pre-election analysis.
Exactly.
They didn't pay gratuity, they didn't pay pension in the state from the days of the Ademola government. So, and then the person who is the godfather of this APC candidate sustained that practice as governor. Adeleke came and cleared everything. So that makes him popular among the civil servant. I think the people have suffered enough to know that removing Adeleke and replacing him with APC is too dangerous for their life, and that was all they showed.
Okay, I would have easily said that you're a campaign manager for the Adeleke campaign organization, but as it stands, the elections are over, and even at that, the way you spoke of Adeleke clearly shows that you are probably a DG or the PRO of the Adeleke campaign foundation. But that aside, now, this Adeleke, the governor, has come out to appreciate the president, for being a godfather or good person or whatever democratic tendency he was projecting. But if the president was this good and had shown so much of a democratic trait in a leader, why then do we need to have so much APC governors, coming to Bayelsa, then coming to Osun State, and there's so much money pumped into an election, so much so that voters were able to get 50,000 per person, to do that. But before you answer this question, I would love for us to listen to Governor Adeleke on his appreciation to the president. Stay tuned.
And growth under my renewed 5-point agenda. At this point, I must deeply appreciate Mr. President, His Excellency Senator Bola Tinubu, for his strong support for a free and fair election. Mr. President is a son of Osun State, and I hereby reaffirmed my earlier endorsement of him for a second term in the 2027 presidential election.
All right, welcome back. The governor is thanking the president. I don't know if he's thanking the president for allowing him to win freely or credibly, or if he's thanking the president in advance for maybe to be able to get some of the funds in the possession of the federal government released, or if he's thanking the president for being a good father to the nation and the people of Osun State. What do you think about this appreciation of the governor to the president?
He not only appreciated him, but he further emphasized the fact that he have endorsed the president for the 2027 election. There are many ways to see it. You talked about the fact that the state allocation, local government allocation, is still under seizure. And don't forget the fact that we have a country where 4 or 5 people decide the governor of a state. And most times, this directive comes from the villa. It is the villa that issue directives to those 7 or 5 people, and they obey it. So, from that place of the president's ability to influence a very weak and corrupt judiciary, I can understand why he is thanking him. I don't think the president displayed much of a leader. There was nothing APC would have done in Osun State, or else they were ready for a civil war. Okay? The only way APC would have rigged the election successfully would have been their ability to engage in massacre. Because had APC attempted rigging in Osun State, by now we'll be counting corpses of many people that will be down.
My only problem now is this. If indeed the president was this democratic and all whatnot, why do we need the intervention or interference of several APC governors, to try and influence the outcome of the election? And, allegedly people getting 50,000, as much as 50,000, that is somebody's salary. A lot of people who work for 30 days.
Who their salary is not even up to that. Okay? There are people whose salary in this country is not up to that. Listen, the thing is this. There are many ways to see it. We've talked about him looking for allocation. We also talked about a weak judiciary. The third thing is this. The president and Adeleke comes from the same ethnic group. And we can't write off ethnic sentiment in all this. There's a way Adeleke will take up on Tinubu. He will lose some of his support base. Largely because they feel that this is a Yoruba man like you. Why will you support him over an Igbo man or a Northerner? Let's not pretend. These things do influence political decisions in Nigeria. But I think the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, wrote agreement is agreement. There was no agreement anywhere. The APC went to Osun State to rig. They went there to buy votes. They went there to do many anomalies. But the people stood their ground and say, lie, it no go happen. And now they are coming to make it look like they allowed the guy to win. They didn't allow him. If you wanted him to win, like you said, why deploy 22 governors to face only one governor? Mind you, there was no single opposition governor for Adeleke. There was no one. He was all alone with his people and his grassroots. So let's not deceive ourselves. He was one man alone, but he won them. I think he's thanking the president because of the powers and influence of the president of Nigeria, and thus trying to make the president understand, look, I am not against you. I am probably against your party in the state.
Okay, if that is the case, we only hope that it is exactly what it is. But I also hope that people stop wasting taxpayers' money, in a bid to sway elections, election outcomes in their favor. And we also saw clips of people shouting "Ole, Ole" to the governor of Edo State, even though he was not the only one in that vehicle, in that convoy. And that says a whole lot.
The governor of Edo State made himself notorious in this election. You won't blame him too much. Somebody who was not, who did not win a free and fair election, you don't expect him to believe in a free and fair process. So that's just my attitude.
Well, for something like that to happen, I believe that this is, like in your words, notorious indeed. The people are supposed to cheer you on as you pass and not call you derogatory and demeaning names like Ole. That does not speak well. But now, with all that has happened in Osun State, what do you think what implication does this hold going into 2027 election?
There are a lot of implications, and I'll try to take them as much as I can. Number one, the Osun State election has proven what some of us believe. I believe President Bola Tinubu can be defeated in 2027. I believe that Nigerian people can force INEC to do the right thing, because largely it was the people that forced INEC to do the right thing. Secondly, the lesson to be learned here is that mobilization is key in politics. Mobilization is key in politics. We have to go beyond social media noise and begin to ask yourself, all these people making noise on social media, how many of them are ready to come out on election day to vote? Adeleke largely did not make too much noise on social media. That is not to say he did not. But when he went into the election, we saw the figures, 511, and we saw the voter turnout. 45% of all the voters turn out to vote. The third thing to learn is that elections have its own peculiarity. People shouldn't think that the mere fact that APC have lost Osun State, that means they have lost at the national level. One factor is clear: they are not popular at the national level. Okay?
Yes.
Therefore, to win them, the opposition must take cognizance of peculiarities.
Yeah.
Obi or nothing, Atiku or nothing, Kwankwaso or nothing, you are only campaigning for Tinubu by proxy. If you must defeat Tinubu, the opposition must unite as a team, bury their differences, and face him in the election. The Osun State election has shown that 22 governors could mean 0 votes. So why are you? If they like, let them acquire more governors. There are still governors to acquire. So Ludo have not yet joined them. OT has not yet joined them, even though those ones are supporting them. They should go and acquire them and face the people. Nigerians must also understand that protection of vote is key in democracy. We cannot live for INEC alone, the job that when we vote we go home. Experience have shown INEC cannot be trusted. But experience have also shown in Osun State that we can do to INEC, daddy must obey. We own these institutions, they don't own us.
Okay, one final word for me. I think the government, as much as we want to stop what we have preached about this countless number of times, it is also important to let the people or the government know that weaponizing poverty will not take us anywhere. Giving people 50,000, 30,000 to buy votes is not a good way to go. It doesn't speak well of the nation. And of course, this has also shown that people are now very, very aware of what is going on around them. Giving them money will not change their conscience. They take your 50,000 and of course they will go ahead and vote their conscience. That is the way to go. And I hope that every other part of this country take a cue from this and learn from what has happened in Osun State. We'll end it here today.
Before we end it, I beg, I'm not the Adeleke's campaign manager, I'm not their PR. We're just seated in this table analyzing things today. I have to say, the average Nigerian does not like the APC.
All right, we'll end it here today. And if this video comes your way, please do well to share to your friends and subscribe to our channel and do well to leave your comments. Your criticisms are highly appreciated. And until we come again next time, it's a good night.